Yeah, what's going on, guys? GTO Thoughts Podcast, day 30 something. YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Pinterest, Twitter. It's 5:20 a.m., January 13th. And yeah, we're making this kind of the day after again. But yeah, yesterday we fucking killed it, man. Yesterday we just crushed it. Such a GTO day. Got so much stuff done. Made some really good improvements on a lot of different things that I'm doing. All my main goals, basically, made improvements on. GTO Club, made some improvements on. Kind of my process working with people, made some improvements on my process of some things I've been learning at. I feel like I made a little bit more stronger realizations on a couple different things as well. And yeah, YouTube stuff, we fucking killed it. Put out a really great video that's crushing it right now in terms of most of my videos for PLO hands. Podcast we did, I think, was pretty good with Bileto. Workout we got in was fucking killer. We killed the workout. Workout was strong, very strong workout. Diet yesterday was strong. Man, yesterday was a really good day. Really good day. Really good day. But my sleep's a little off right now in that yesterday I stayed awake from 2 a.m. until 7:30 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. or something like that. I only slept like 2 hours last night. I'm trying to fix it. And then I slept like 5 hours and then I woke up today and now we've been getting after it for first couple hours. But I decided today, I took like the first like 2 hours I was awake. I took it off and watched from NBA from last night and ate, trying to see, because I felt like with the extra no sleep that I couldn't really go back to sleep. So I was like, I'm just going to watch this and just use this as a rest time instead of trying to focus and put my mind into something. And now I've noticed that I've been really getting into it. I've been looking at some analytical numbers for my YouTube stuff and talking with Jonah. I just got off the phone with Jonah and my wizard assistant, kind of brainstorming some ideas for the videos that we're doing on YouTube and to try to hack the analytic numbers and try to improve them in some areas. And I think I came up with some really good stuff. I mean, basically it's just like trial. You just try things and see what happens and you give it a shot. And it's just like PLO, just like poker. You look like an old lady with this thing on. I don't care. You just try things and see what happens instead of like resting on your laurels, sort of. But I guess in a way I've done that with my podcast to some extent. But I don't necessarily know what I could have maybe do differently. Except, I mean, there's a couple things I suppose. But in terms of the presentation, I mean, I guess I could. It's just I don't know how to. Yes, I could. With these PLO hand videos, I feel like you have a direct. I can directly affect and impact the production of them. So I think there's ways to sort of do different things. And even with the podcast, I actually figured something out too. In that a lot of people click off the video immediately within the first like 10 to 20 seconds. So maybe I need to like spice up the first 10, like have that be my hitting point. Whatever the main topic for the podcast is, put it in those 20 seconds. If I want to give like a shout out to something, like quick 20 seconds, like gtoclub.com or some shit. Like, I don't know. There's got to be something. I'm just going to try a bunch of things, see what happens. And yeah, really good day yesterday. See if I can go off memory what I did. Worked out in the afternoon before the podcast. In the morning, I did the GTO or the PLO hand video. Had a couple really great conversations with a couple guys in the group. Made the thoughts video, made a message video, did some forum stuff. Workout was good. I did what I did yesterday. I did it's like upper body combo. It's 3 sets, 6 reps, bench press, 2-second pause on chest, and then back row. We did. It was 3 sets of 6 for that as well, but that was super heavy. And then lat pull downs, 45-degree angle, 3 sets, 12. Which was relatively heavy, but not that heavy because I was a little tired from that other one. And then this one's tough for the 4th one. It's seated hammer curls with dumbbells and then like these things with like bent over, sitting down, which are fucking like, man, I can barely do any weight on that last. It's 3 sets of 15 for each one. So you do back to back. So you 15, then 15, and that's fucking hard. So, and then tricep pull downs with chin ups. Yeah, I think that's right. So good workout, a lot of stretching, a lot of water. Food was good. Protein shakes were good. Need to have my protein shakes today, actually, now that I think about it. What will be after that? Oh, yeah, I recorded a video with my friend Bales for GTO Club, kind of just talking about different club-related topics. And yeah, he's a super successful guy in what he's doing. He's got one of the biggest daily fantasy sports companies that is a product that sort of gives projections, analytics, and that sort of thing. And successful DFS player, author, has written like 12 books, wrote for a bunch of different, bunch of different sports sites, and yeah, just super GTO at that stuff. And so we just had a conversation, which like a normal conversation that we would have, and I recorded it for the group, put that out probably today, and then I guess I have to decide how to present that. There's probably a couple different ways to present it, but I'll have to think about that a bit more. I'm not sure if the value in stressing about the presentation of that is going to matter right now, but I think it might actually matter a little bit. I got to think about it. I actually have to write that down. Yeah, I probably should do that actually. Yeah. Good idea. We're talking things out here on GTO Thoughts podcast today, boys and girls. For the hardcores, if you're watching this, you're one of the fucking hardcores, man. Ain't no other reason to watch this if you're not hardcore. You know what I mean? But if you're trying to crush it, you let me know, man. I'll do my part to help you get there. Oh my God. Yeah, I was listening to this great podcast yesterday. And so I was studying a little bit about rapport, a little bit about rapport in general. So rapport is essentially, it seems like it comes down to a lot of being vulnerable with the other person, whether that's, and there's like different layers of it. There's ways to detect it in other people. And it's kind of, a lot of it's to do with listening, but also to do with giving stories about yourself and telling interesting things about yourself. So instead of you just listening to someone, asking them questions, which is kind of what I've done in the past, I think a little bit too much, you interject with your own experiences and your own stories and your own sort of, and your own life. And yeah, I mean, I do that a lot on the podcast, sort of like non-strategic, in that if I want somebody to open up, or if I want them to feel more comfortable about a question that I ask them, or if I maybe want to get a more interesting answer, or if I feel like I want to better tell my story to them so that way they know more about me and it changes the dynamic of the conversation, which debatably might actually mean one of those first three things I said. I like to share things about myself, and people in the beginning noticed this a lot. They said, why does Joey he says a lot, he talks about himself a lot in these podcasts, and he sometimes says the same things. And that's true, because a lot of times if I'm asking a question, like if I'm asking someone about hard work and, they don't really know much about me, they might give a generic answer. But if I say, yeah, like I remember the time I played 450,000 hands in a month at Pop Manoa, and I basically played 16 hours straight for 2 weeks straight. And then, yeah, it was just super tough. That's all I did. Basically, my diet was awful. I just played poker every day. Well, if you tell somebody that and then you ask them about work ethic, you're going to get a different answer. They're going to look at your entire question differently. They're going to look at you differently. And that's really going to change the dynamic of the conversation. So especially when I'm doing poker podcasts, well, obviously I can bring up poker related things. If I'm talking about traveling the world, well, I can bring up traveling the world related things. I'm talking about living in different countries, bring up living in different countries. If I'm talking about diet, I'll talk about my own diet. I'll talk about my own workouts, my own experiences, bring up my sports, bring up basketball, bring up my dating, especially any dating question. I always try to include something about myself that maybe is a little bit vulnerable to some extent, which is not really that much, not big of vulnerability, especially drug stories too. I do that all the time because certain people are just not as open talking about drugs and traveling and doing drugs and shit like that. So that's when I'll, like, if anyone's paying attention, like I always will interject with something about that. I'm like, man, yeah, I've been fucked up a lot of times on ecstasy, man. Whew, had some great nights. And then when you say that, they're much more likely to be like, yeah, man, I've been the same. You know what I mean? But if you're just like asking them, so what's up with drugs? You like drugs? You big ecstasy guy? You like to get fucked up? You like to fuck a lot of bitches or what, man? You fuck a lot of girls? Would you like big girls? You say it just like that. And I could probably pull that off too. But when you say, man, listen, BGG, big girl grind 160 or above, man, I show them love. Listen, man, the big girls need love too, right? You don't think so? You're telling me you're telling me seriously you never messed around with a big girl? Come on. And then it turns out a lot of people say, oh, I mean, I did I say it on the podcast, right? But you sort of, you make it happen. And I'm much better conversator on the podcast than I am in real life a lot of times. And I think it's because the podcast, I'm probably more interested in in the people I'm having on the podcast. One, and two, it's also recorded, so I have to be like on top of things. I can't really not be on it. But then I think about, well, why am I not like that in all my conversations I have? Obviously, it's fucking a lot of energy too. So sometimes you just want to relax, but maybe there's a way to frame it differently in my mind to have those conversations all the times. I don't know. Something to think about. Something to try. Ed Kennedy says, would like to join the GTO club. Still accepting. This is Zigman273 from Twitch. Just sent up a website. What's the best way to send you a letter? Still trying to decide if it would be a good fit for me. Listen, Ed. Now, Ed. All right. I'm going to tell you something right now, Ed. And I don't sell anybody, but I'm going to sell you right now because it's something I've been working at in the fucking sales course. Here's what I can tell you about the GTO club, Ed. If you're somebody who wants to be 2 to 5 to 10 to 100 times more productive, more focused, more motivated, more on track, eliminate white spaces, and just get a much clearer picture about where your life is going to be in 1 month, in 2 months, in 3 months. And you want to be around a supportive group of people who are very fucking smart, who can give you opinions, feedbacks on anything that you might be doing, anything, whether it's poker, diet, fitness, your health. I mean, it's the same thing kind of, your relationships, dating, women, traveling, living in different countries, entrepreneurship, working at a fucking shitty job that you hate, but you're trying to get a better mindset, trying to be more positive, eliminate the fucking white spaces, man. If you're trying to be a part of that, if you're trying to change your life for the better, if you want to be the best version that you can be, and you want to fucking put the effort in, put the work in, put the time in, then yeah, man, GTO club's for you, buddy. GTO club's for you. And tell you what, if you don't fucking like it, you leave the club. That's it. But I'm telling you, no one's joined the club and said, I don't like this. People join the club and they don't fucking leave the club. They say, man, this is fucking awesome. I love this. This is great. And yeah, that's what I got. I didn't put that in a video, but that's true. But no, I don't really advertise GTO club right now. We got 16 guys in there, and I'm just focused on making it as great as I can be, really improving my work with people, improving every aspect of it. And I think I'm like taking it slow. We had 10 in there, added a couple more, and that's kind of how we've been doing. I think we've had 2 people that were initially in the group leave. One guy sort of graduated. He feel like he's an older guy and 47. I couldn't deliver for him, I think, because he's like a vice president of a company, a very smart guy, like a technology guy. And I think that at the time I wasn't aware enough to build something for him. But I think I have a better idea on it now. And then another guy, I don't want to say his situation, but he had to skip the country. I don't know. I don't really want to talk about it because he might go to jail or something. So, I mean, fuck, I probably shouldn't have even said that. But yeah, and then also we had 2 other guys who tried the group out. One was like an old friend from 10 years ago who just wasn't even trying with the group. So I left the group. And then another guy who was super, super busy. And this one taught me a lot because super busy, super successful guy, but just just wasn't putting any time into the group, was just sort of doing his own thing. And I think that was something that made me really start to think about, well, how can I impact the really successful people who are already like crushing? And then I came up with an entire reformat of what I'm doing and a reapproach. And I just thought about, what would I do for myself? Because I am someone who is doing really well at a lot of different things. And what would I do for myself? How would I help myself out if I was someone else? Because that's basically the kind of people, anyone that's going to have a ton of success at what they're doing is going to be in the same ballpark. I think a lot of people are going to have better structure than I have right now, but I think my structure is getting a lot better. So the better that gets, the better it will be for me to be able to deal with any type of person. Because I think as I get better with dealing with the structure and excelling with structure in my own life, I'll be able to deal with people who excel on structure and who also excel on chaos. Because I've always been someone who really excelled on chaos with my life. And now if I know how to approach both situations, kind of like exploitative versus GTO. If you know how to excel exploitatively and you know how to excel playing GTO at poker, you're going to fucking crush. You're just going to do really well. So if you can approach your own life, I feel like from that standpoint where you can have a super structured planned out, but at the same time, if you got to back up the fucking truck and improvise a little bit and take it to the streets and fucking just get a little crazy for a week or get a little crazy for 2 weeks and really survive on chaos and not let the chaos get your life out of sorts, then I think that's a huge skill and a huge habit. And yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. But yes, and Ed, you get in touch with me, man. You email me, son. Let me check my GTO Club email. The GTO Club at gmail.com. Read the website, onepokerlife.com/GTO Club. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Make sure you've read everything on the fucking website, kid. But I'm telling you, man, listen, you give me effort. You give me effort. There's no fucking way you're not going to be happy with your decision. And if you're not happy with your decision, you fucking tell me you're not happy with your decision. And we'll make you happy with your decision, man. That's what it is. Anybody in the world joins GTO Club. As long as they give me effort, I'll give them results, my all, my energy, and fucking everything I'm doing with it, man. Man, I need to put that on a video for sale. I'm going to fill the fucking club up quick, man. Brendan, listen, buddy, if I say that, I'm going to fill the club up quick. And like, it's true. It's just true, guys. It's not a lie. It's true. It's just true. It's just a fact, right? It's a fact. You give me effort, you're going to be crushing. It's a fact. It just fucking is. I'm fired up, man. Whew. Shout out to everybody watching this live. Might be the most people I've ever had watching live for. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let me see here. What else we got written down? Yesterday, yeah. So we recorded a thing with Bales. Had another meal. And then I talked with my girly girl. And then, oh my God, yeah, I recorded 2 videos from my girly girl yesterday from my chess partner. And she loved them, man. I gave her a GTO Club message in the morning and she was like fucking fired up. She's like, man, I learned this at work today. I like got better at this. I was like, man, maybe I should be doing these on like a bigger scale for people. Maybe I should just put out these GTO Club messages for like the entire world every day. Maybe I should. Fuck it, man. I'm gonna try it today. Let's sim it, man. Let's sim that shit. Let's fucking sim it. You know what? I'm gonna record a GTO Club message for everybody today. I'm gonna put it out there for the public, and I'm just gonna tell them basically what I would tell my GTO Club or what I would tell my chess partner, man. Same things I would tell her. Same things I would tell other people. You know, kind of just remember, like, it's like a reminder for the day. You know, I think we all go into the day and we're just a little bit like unsure what we're doing or unsure who we are as a person or unsure what our goals are or like unsure what we're trying to do that day. And we just sort of exist in the day and the day completes and we didn't tangibly take anything away from the day. We just existed in the day. The day passed us by and we didn't get better at anything. We didn't really make a difference to our overall purposes. We didn't make a difference to our overall message we tell ourselves or we tell other people. And yeah, I mean, I know that happens to me a ton. I mean, not much anymore, luckily, because I got GTO thoughts, but I know it was something that, I mean, I just felt like I existed for days and days and days without really having much improvement. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just a good reminder, like, hey, you know, try to learn something today. Whatever it is, whatever your main thing is, your main number one thing is try to make progress towards it. Whether it's think about how you can do it differently. If you're a salesman, think about how you can sell differently. Try something new, upsell something. If you're a poker player, try something new at poker today. Focus on one spot. Focus on the button. Focus on the big blind. Focus on the small blind. Focus on playing against aggressive player. Focus on playing against a fucking a tight player. If you're in a relationship, maybe try something different for your relationship today. Just break up the default. Break up the system, that comfortable system, that boring system that isn't necessarily being productive for you. It's just existing. It's just a system that exists. And yeah, I really should record the message. You guys are right. That's a good idea, Brian. I got to record it. I mean, this is from myself too. I tell myself this, like, this is self-affirmations right here. I'm reminding myself of this when I say this stuff. So yeah, I got to change my outfit though. I can't be wearing this fucking head. I can't be wearing this thing during the GTO thoughts video, man. Or the message from the group. This hair. We're going to be looking like Jesus soon, brothers. We're going to be one of those. We're going to get tan. We're going to have the fucking flowing hair, the 6-pack. Why not? Hashtag why not, right? Why not? Why not try to be the best version of yourself you can be? Why not put the energy in, man? Why not try? Why not? Let me affirm you motherfuckers real quick. Hold on. Let me give some affirmations here real quick. We got written down. Let me give a couple affirmations here. Inefficiencies. I love that fucking word. Take chances. Be unique. Be creative. Think outside the box. It's how you got great at poker debatably podcasting, basketball, and launched a business or a brand, a personal brand, whatever you want to call it. That's for me. That's something I say to myself. Just a reminder every day. And this one's been big for me. This one is take one small step to start doing it. And I always remind myself of that. Like when I'm like, man, I need to go wash my face. Well, let me take one small step. Let me step into the bathroom. I need to eat. Let me step into the kitchen. I need to go talk to people in the group. Let me go step into my office. Take one small step. And usually when I take that first small step, instead of being like, fuck, this is going to be tough. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. It's more like, I'm going to take this one small step. And then once I just take the first step, it's so much easier to just start doing it. It's fucking such a crazy hack. It really is, man. I'm gonna be a teacher one. I'm gonna be a fucking teacher one day, Brendan. I'm gonna teach people. I'm gonna be like the GTO Preparatory Academy in Seoul, South Korea. We're gonna be teaching fucking little Korean kids. Shout out to the Korean kids that you Snapchat me, by the way. Those kids are fucking great. What else we got, man? I'm fired up. I could talk like fucking 3 hours right now. I'm ready to get after it. See what happens when I do the thoughts videos in the morning times compared to nighttime? I'm fired up, man. This is the kind of energy I bring all day. So by the end of the day, I'm just fucking tired. I don't got it. I mean, 17 hours in, of course we're not going to have it. PLO social media posts. We've been killing it, man. We've been killing it. GTO social media posts. We actually need to get more back on brand. Let me do that today. We need to get back more on brand on what GTO Club's all about. With those little fucking messages and those like little excerpts from books and all those things. We need to get back on those things. We were doing well for that. And I feel like I've gone away from that. And now I'm just like using the word GTO and I'm quoting other people because now people always say GTO to me, which is, hashtag strategy, hashtag whatever, hashtag why am I using hashtags? I'm a fucking weirdo. Let's see, book we read, more Tools of Titans. Tools of Titans gets you fired up. What else do we read? We read this book in the bathroom. We're taking a bathroom break today. Let's go get it. Yeah. Hey, I just got books all over, man. Listen, shift your thinking. 200 ways to improve your life. Every one of these things is just. Are you in the habit of habitually ignoring the value of habits? I used to be, for sure. Yes, I was before. Oh yeah, I want to go back and talk about rapport in a second. Don't let the anticipation of the future rob the value that exists in the present. Fuck, that's me. I definitely have that happen. Your talent will endure hardship when there is a lack of relationship. Interesting. Shit, man. Okay, I gotta read this book after I'm done with this, man. I'm fired up. But yeah, I want to go back to the rapport. So I was listening to something on rapport, and I realized that I am maybe I just don't give a fuck. That's probably why sometimes I don't think I struggle with rapport. I usually just ask questions, and I don't share enough. And debatably, I do some interesting stuff. But I always feel like I don't want to I don't like talk about money. I don't say like when it comes to poker, like I'll mention I play poker. I have like a business or I have like a podcast, but I don't really get into the specifics of it or what it entails or if it's successful or not. I don't know. I feel like most times, I don't know. I don't really want to come off as I'm like rubbing in someone's face or I'm being like braggadocious or anything like that. Cause I'm really not. I'm not trying to be like, hey, I do this, I do that. Like I'm cool. And I don't really bring it up ever unless somebody asks me what I do. I never really say, oh, I do this. Like ever. I never say that. Which debatably might be a leak. Maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe I should tell people what I do. But I think around where I live now, it's in the suburbs. I mean, it's just like, no one can relate to it. No one's going to be like, oh, that makes sense. Like I know someone that's doing that. Like no one's doing what I'm doing in terms of like playing online poker or like doing podcasts on YouTube or just doing YouTube stuff or creating content or working with people with GTO Club or starting a business. I mean, I guess some can maybe, but and of course the demographic of people I'm meeting is not big right now. It's very small. It's in a couple different places. I'm not really doing too much exciting stuff, stuff you wouldn't put on the gram, stuff you wouldn't put on Facebook and start stunting with. I'm not really doing too much of that stuff. I'm not flexing too much, man. I'm not, even when I do, I don't like show it off or like talk about it too much which is probably not GTO when you think about it for a lot of ways, especially if like you're someone who's successful. In theory, the reason why I think a lot of people look up to successful people is the lifestyle that it then gives them. And the way that you portray success is through your lifestyle. And this was a big epiphany when I was 23 or 22 and I was playing poker, and your family would be like, well, you're a fucking idiot. Like you're a dork, go to school or do this, do that, whatever. And until you show them a receipt, like people don't respect what you do until you got a receipt. So I bought a car, I bought a BMW M3 convertible, shout out to me. And then all of a sudden people look at you differently, like, oh shit, man, okay, he doing it. Like I'm gonna treat him with respect. I'm gonna treat what he's doing serious. I'm gonna treat what he does differently. And I think people really, like a lot of people, and they need the receipts. Without that, how can I say to a lot of people like, yeah, I'm having success at what I'm doing? Well, if I'm just like in the office, I'm working, I'm not really traveling much, or yeah, and maybe I'm doing that because I want to stay focused and stay in the zone. But at the same time, I'm sure to a lot of people out there, it might be like, oh, well, he's struggling, or it's this, it ain't going well, or it's that, or anything like that, right? And on one hand, you don't really care about that, because I don't really care about that. But on the other hand, if you do have a business, or if you have a brand, or if you're selling a product or a service, or you want your words to be taken with authority and credibility and respect, then you need those things. Help with anybody. It just does. I mean, if I see someone who's fucking traveling the world playing poker tournaments, and then we have a conversation about it, and I mean, we're talking poker, we're talking being successful, I'm going to perceive that person as more successful just because of what I see. And especially if I don't know them too well, and even if I do know them well, I'm going to perceive their life as more successful if they're doing more successful things in their life. And it's funny how that works. That's funny how we perceive traveling or staying in these places or playing these poker tournaments as being successful. And that's sort of a trick that you can fall into in poker, is that people that do those things aren't always succeeding and aren't always winning and having success, but they're portraying that, and then they're treated differently. And they get so addicted to that feeling that comes along with that they don't know how to go away from that. They don't want to be the guy playing 2-5 live. They're the guy playing $10,000 tournaments. So they don't know how to change their, they can't. They need that. They need that validation from people. They need that, they need that respect. They need that feeling they get from people. They don't want to be seen as the guy who's rebuilding at 1-2 or 2-5. Like that's just not what people want to go through. I personally, I don't mind. I've had to rebuild plenty of times. I don't mind. I don't mind building from the ground up. I don't mind grinding. I don't mind people if they don't perceive what I'm doing as successful. But I think when it comes to people watching your videos or listening to your podcast or listening to what you're going to say, or, now if you have GTO Club and it's on a bigger scale, wanting to be a part of that, and those things really matter. And I think it's something that I've been neglecting these past months. I really haven't left too much these past 6 months since I got back from Vegas. Vegas just it was crazy. I was so out of line. I'm like, I need to just get in the lab and just grind and just build. Just fucking build, work hard, build my mind, build my body, build my future, and then go out there and start enjoying this life and doing this stuff. And I've done a couple trips in here and there, but I haven't really built it up to be any sort of crazy thing. I could have done more for that, I feel like, and maybe I should have. I probably should have, to be honest. But to me, that the main priority now is just really focusing on my own mindset, my own stuff. And I think that'll come in time. I think there's plenty of time to start getting out there and doing life. There's plenty of time for that. I don't need to worry about that. I can take off 7 months, 8 months, just fucking get there, hunker down, get in the lab, build a lot of tangible things about myself and about what I'm doing, and then get out there and start doing it. So that's kind of, man, we're getting fired up today, boys. You guys are getting it, man. This might be the GTO. Whew, this is the GTO thoughts right here. I'm fired up. I'm excited. But the crazy thing is, right? It's like if I say this shit to you and I'm some guy and just some fucking dude who plays 2-4 on Bovada or something, lives in the United States, people are going to hear this and say, well, I mean, sure, theoretically this all sounds good, bro, but what the fuck do you know? Why am I going to listen to you? Why is what you say, how do we know you didn't just read a book? And that's something I take a lot of, I put a lot of value in for myself, is that I don't ever want to say things that I just repeat. I read in a book or I heard somebody say. I want to say things that I've done, that I've had experience with, that I've labbed, that I've experienced the pros and cons, the positives and negatives, the ups and downs in the approach, in the grind, in the pursuit. And I think what I do with people in my group is that everything I talk about with them, it's all from personal experience. It's never like, oh, my friend fucking Steve said, do this, so do it. It's more like, no, I've done this. this is where I've struggled at mentally. This is where I've excelled at mentally. This is how I've overcame that barrier. And whether it's with diet, fitness, poker, now with building a brand, building up a YouTube channel, building up a business, fucking traveling the world, dating women, having friendships, family, any of these things. And I just will use things from my own experience. And I'm not saying my approach or my experience or the way I do things is properly. All I can do is give you my input and then have you think about it and then put it into your own rhythm, put it into your own life, and then fucking put it in your head, and then something comes out and your own interpretation of it comes out. And I like to think that I do some things pretty well. I think there's some things I certainly struggle with when it comes to relationships, for sure. When it comes to I mean, traveling GTO, when it comes to stepping outside of my little world, I think I don't excel at that because I'm so used to succeeding and building in my little zone bubble world that it's easier in a way, so that it's uncomfortable to be like, I'm going to go to Miami and stay on the beach for 2 weeks and like do all the same stuff I'm doing there because I want to keep my habits, my routine, my rhythm, when in reality, I'd probably succeed in that environment. It might succeed more in that environment, but in a way I'm like scared almost to step outside the environment and put myself in that place and have to figure out these variables that I already have figured out here to some extent. And probably a leak, right? It's definitely a leak. But a leak we're going to conquer, motherfuckers. We're going to get it, man. We're going to get it, man. We're going to get it. GTO Club 2027, man. 2027 is coming. It's going to be it's going to be in the worldwide, man. Facebook. It's not carried away, but why not? Man, why not? Why not, man? Why not? Or some iteration of GTO Club. Poppy Club. I don't fucking know. GTO Club is probably not the best name for it when you think about it, but it could be cool to start the word. Doesn't really connect with the noobs. You got to explain GTO. Yeah, very true. Shard says, damn, this is one of the best pods to date. Yeah, I agree, man. I'm fired up right now. You guys are getting me energized. You're getting me upbeat. You're getting me not 17 hours in. You're getting me 2 hours in. So when I get 2 hours in, I'm fired up, man. I'm definitely fired up. So, but yeah, let me go back to the rapport stuff. I was also studying about, I think it was about charisma. I believe it was about charisma. Where I wrote it down. I wrote down a note somewhere. Let me check my note, what I wrote down for this. I think it was charisma relating. It was actually relationship building. And yeah, I actually realized yesterday that a lot of my stuff stems from vulnerability. That's what it was. It was just the idea of vulnerability. And that I think I've never really been vulnerable with anyone. Like super vulnerable, maybe like a couple people to some extent. But I think those people that I was super vulnerable with, when you're having success, it's really hard to be vulnerable to someone who's not having success, because when they say like, what are you complaining about, dude? Like your life's great. You're doing this. You're in this position. Your future's bright. Like, why are you complaining to me? Look where my life is. And I think in the past, I've had the people in my life that I was willing to open up to, they've been in that position where they might not have had the most current successful status. Maybe they're in school, they're grinding, they're building. And I've noticed when I've opened up to them, it's gone very negatively, very poorly, just not how you'd want it to go. And I think that's made me much more bullish or bearish. I don't know. One of those words. Someone in the chat tell me. Made it much more turned off to the idea of sharing a lot of these things about me, because no one wants to hear someone who's like crushing what they're doing, or they perceive to be crushing what they're doing. No one wants to hear that fucking person complain about something. They're like, oh, like, man, this could be going better. Like, man, I don't want to do this. I want to go move to the fucking mountains. They're like, dude, calm down, man. Like, what are you talking about? So I never want to, and in a way, maybe sometimes you need to hear that. Maybe you need to be told like, hey, like, chill out. But I think when it comes from somebody who you might perceive as saying that to you from like a negative standpoint, where it's like, man, what are you complaining about, man? Look at where I'm at right now. I can never say like stuff to my mom unless it's about relationships, and I can talk to her about relationships. But I can never talk to her about my life and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this right now, or like I'm working at this mindset, or I'm trying to get over this hurdle, or I'm trying to figure out how to gain this motivation for this. Because she's gonna be like, we're like, we live in this fucking house, and here's what our life is, right? I mean, like what. It's just going to come off. It's not going to come off good. It really won't. And yeah, I think that I when I grew up, I don't really think I ever talked to anybody in that sort of way, like friendship wise. I think I had a lot of friends, but I never had someone who I was just vulnerable with. And maybe that comes from maybe never being vulnerable with my mother. And my father was really never in my life. He was, doing his fucking sorts of crazy shit in his life. I don't fucking know. He's a terrible father, terrible husband, terrible boyfriend, terrible everything. So maybe it's that I never had a relationship with him, never was vulnerable with him. And maybe that actually kind of crosses over to relationships too in my life, is that with women, I've never really thought that I wanted to be with this person only. I've always wanted to be with a lot of people. Shout out to me. I've always just liked, and now it's getting different as I get older. I'm maturing. Maybe I always chalked it up to young age, but I always thought there was underlying factors that played a part in that. Why when I'm 21, if I say, oh, I want to, I meet a very attractive girl who I should want to date, I get over it 2 weeks, no matter what, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, all the time. And I think it's because I was never really building a relationship with them. I wasn't aware of them being vulnerable with me about their own feelings or their thoughts or their dreams or their passions or who they are as a person. And therefore, I wasn't being vulnerable with them about who I am as a person, what's on my mind, what I want to do, what makes me sad, what makes me happy, all these things like that. So I was never building an actual relationship with them. I was never letting them build an actual relationship with me in terms of me connecting with them. Therefore, that's why everything would just I would just lose interest straight away. And I think that probably stems back to just being a kid and having it just that being my life. My sister was fucking terrible. I mean, she's she's awful, very awful. And she's like a year younger than me. And then I had another sister. She was handicapped, autistic. She never could speak. So it's like, so I and this kind of came to me last night from listening to this fucking podcast about rapport. This is what I was listening to. I'm like, holy fuck. And I think back to my life. I don't really think I was ever vulnerable with anyone when I was up to 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Maybe maybe my first girlfriend I was to some extent. But you want to know what happened was I think I was to some extent, but I was so insecure about myself, about the relationship, about just so many things you're insecure about when you're 19 years old that I fucked that up. And instead of me being aware enough to realize I was the reason why my insecurities and the way that I perceived myself, perceived people, perceived life was so kind of fucked up in a way, I more perceived it as, oh, well, she did this to me and it's her fault that this didn't work. When I realized it was my fault. I'm a fucking idiot. I just wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't framing things properly. I wasn't framing things smart or accurate in any way. So then me saying, oh, well, I was with this girl and I loved her or cared about her, some shit like that, and didn't work out. So fuck her, fuck women, fuck relationships. I'm not going to open myself up to anybody else because I don't want to deal with that again. And maybe subconsciously that's what taken place, because I think in my relationships after that, I was, I had a relationship with poker. Poker was my girl. Poker was my fucking my wife, my husband, my father, my mother, my daughter, my brother, my everything. It was all everything you can put in a relationship. That's what poker was for me. And I gave it my all. Really, I gave it my life essentially, and I dedicated my life to it. I dedicated my life to just just playing, just having success, or trying to have success, or trying to be great, trying to be good, trying to make a living, trying to survive, honestly, survive in life, not have to do something that wasn't poker, basically. Maybe it wasn't I liked the lifestyle. I just didn't want to do something that wasn't poker. And yeah, maybe because I felt such a close relationship to it. Might be. I don't know. You learn a lot when you're with poker. You learn a lot about your emotions. You learn about your faults, your positives, your negatives. You got to take a long look in the mirror to get really great at poker. You got to face so many mental barriers, so many demons in a way, so many things that you're gonna suck at, and they're gonna be hard to deal with. So much emotional control. So, but now that I'm aware of this, I feel like going forward, all of my relationships are really going to strengthen, whether it's with friends, whether it's with people I'm acquaintances with, whether it's with women and family. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pumped up, man. I'm super happy I learned this. And in a way, it's tough because you're like, shit, what was that? Well, like, why didn't I do this earlier? But this is what GTO Club is all about, is that if I had GTO Club when I was 21 years old, I would have learned this. I would have been exposed to this. How was I ever supposed to learn this, right? If no one taught me this growing up, how was I ever supposed to know this stuff? Like, how would this ever have came into my life? And I feel like it's like that with so many people. This stuff doesn't come into your life. You're not told this. You're not talked about this. You don't know someone that you respect and you give authority to, and they say this to you, and you're like, oh, wow, I never thought about that. It never happened. You never turned on to it. And that's what I want to do. I want to turn these things on to people around the world. Or one fucking person. Like I said, if it's one person, if it's you in the chat right now, that's okay for me. So that's okay. Shout out to Ed, Real Talk Joe. I appreciate it. I've watched, listened to everything you've made, but this might be the most connecting, insane. And I mean, it's kind of being vulnerable. It goes back to being vulnerable, right? I'm being vulnerable about my own past, my own experiences. I'm telling you anecdotes from my past. Is that right? I don't know. I'm telling you anecdotes from my past that aren't necessarily positives, that aren't something you'd brag about, or it's something you'd want to show off. And I'm telling people about myself and how I think and what makes me me. And that connects you to people. That builds rapport. That makes people like you or fucking hate you or want to invest in you or want to be someone that's invested in your success or your adventures or your life or your anything. So, I mean, like I said, I think that that's what I picked up from yesterday. And I don't think it's anything that it's not inauthentic in any way. I think that's kind of who I am, and that's how I am with the people I talk to. And it's sort of a way that I've realized is I'm able to then really tell who I am and really talk about who I am as a person. And yeah, it's like a different way to look at it, a different way to frame it, a different way to approach it. And that's what the beauty is in fucking studying and learning, man. I love learning. I'm all in on learning. I'm all in on reading. I'm all in on learning. And I'm all in on really, really bringing this to the world, really bringing this to people, just trying to figure out a way to package it in one thing and then distribute it. So that's what it is, man. I'm fired up. I'm fired up right now badly. I love it. This is why people in the GTO club love GTO club, man, because I get fired up like this all the time. Especially when I talk to people one-on-one. I don't take excuses also, Ed. Let me tell you, I don't take excuses. If you give me an excuse, you're not going to give me a second excuse often, because I'm going to be like, all right, dude, stop making fucking excuses, okay? And I tell people, if I ever make an excuse, I want to be called out. I'm not accepting excuses in my life. I'm taking accountability for my actions. I'm taking accountability for what I do, positive or negative. I'll deal with the repercussions. And you got to. What can you do? Make the best of it. And yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I'm fired up. Book. We talked about that. Thoughts video. We did that. Best of podcast. We kind of did podcast. Uncomfortable act. What did we do yesterday? I was uncomfortable. I did something that was uncomfortable yesterday. I just can't think about it. I feel like everything was super comfortable yesterday. I don't know. I did so many like system breaking things yesterday that I wouldn't normally do. And it all sort of stemmed from that podcast I listened to related to just like charisma and related to like building relationships and conversating in a way. So let's see. What else we got on the list here? Conversation with someone inspiring. Had some great conversations. You know what? I want to have some more conversations with people. This is what I picked up from the fucking podcast. Yes, I picked this up. He talked about anybody can call him up. Anyone can call him up. He'll have a conversation with them. And I was like, you know what? Anyone can call me. I'll have a conversation with anybody. Like, I almost want to put out a number and say, hey, call me. Anyone can call me anytime. You want to talk? Hit me up. I got 10 minutes. I got 15 minutes for anybody. And then I was thinking about what would that conversation be like? Would I be listening? Would it be like therapeutic? Would it be a conversation? Would it be someone asking me for advice? Would it be like, what would it be like? And I guess that's kind of what it would be like. And I guess I'd have to be okay with that, right? I don't necessarily like the therapy. I like the conversations, but I mean, fuck, if that's going to help people out, I don't know. That seems like a good idea. I really want to do that. I just want to give people a number and be like, hey, hit me up. You want to chat? Hit me up. Get in touch. Reach out. Say what's up. You got a question? Say what's up. You want to talk? Say what's up. Put it on Twitter. Say what's up. You got something to say? Say what's up. You want to tell me to die? That's so cool. Say what up. But don't say that. That's mean. Let's see. Business marketing course study yesterday. We did what did we do yesterday? What were we reading? We were doing something. I can't remember what I was doing yesterday though. What were we doing? I was studying for my book. I know what my book's going to be about now. So I'm really excited for my book. I might actually start writing some after this. I'm fucking excited for my book. My book's going to crush. This book's going to be popular and these people are going to love this book. This book is going to be fucking sick. I'm excited for the book. Holy fuck. I'm excited. Share one thing I learned in Amazing yesterday. We crushed it yesterday. We fucking crushed it. We crushed it so hard. Workout, we got after. Conversations, we got after. Podcast, we did pretty good. PLO video, crushed it. Conversation, crushed it. Videos for the relationship, chess partner relationship, crushed it. Share one thing I learned. I've already shared a lot today. Let's see. What else? Improvements. How did I improve on my main purpose? I guess I talked about that a lot. We put out a good PLO hand video. We had some good conversations for the group, created some good content for the group. We learned stuff that's going to help us out moving forward in relation to what I'm building in a business. And we improved our diet, had a great workout. Small improvements, got better and better. Oh, I'm out of line of shit. All right. That's what we got. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to record a group message, but I'm going to put it out for everybody to see. And I'm also going to record my friend A a video right now after this, actually, because I'm fired up. I want to talk to her. I'm going to text somebody else too. I might just text everybody right now. Fuck it, man. Oh, I got to follow up on that coaching. Shit. All right. I got to put that down. I got to follow up on this guy's coaching. I just neglected to do that so far. Follow. Oh. Bam, GTO. All right, Ed, get in touch with me, kid. If you don't get in touch with me, that's all right. But get in touch with me. Hit me up, thegtoclub@gmail.com. If you need more information, go to my website, onepokerlife.com/GTO-club. Has all the information for the GTO club. It will change your fucking life. I guarantee it. If it doesn't, you can tell me to go fuck myself. And that's it. But yeah, that's what I got. Much love, everybody. Shout out to everybody. We'll be back sometime soon. And that's what I got. That's what it is. Adios. Peace out. Much love.